quickly want to cut across to Tel Aviv, where Shivani Sharma, our colleague, joins us from Israel. Israel celebrating this morning. We heard what Benjamin Netanyahu said, but the people on the street, it's still very, very early in the morning in Israel. But this was anticipated. This is what Israel wanted all along.
Exactly, Gaurav. The indications of that victory started coming in from that message from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where we could see him having that coffee and saying that I think that the coming week will be very good for Israel, because, you know, this was Shabbat yesterday, and very much important out here, I must indicate, Gaurav, there was no alert through the night. The sirens did not sound. Comparatively, in past 10 days, yesterday was a little peaceful in terms of not getting those attacks, not getting those siren alerts from the IDF. That means that now we have to wait and watch, because the coming hours will be quite decisive after these attacks have taken place inside Iran from the United States. And very important out here is the alert has been upped here by the home front inside Israel, because definitely if Israel tries to strike back, counter strikes have to be there, counter measures have to be accelerated aggressively, and that's what we are sensing on ground in Tel Aviv, Gaurav. There are certain indications that Israel is on a high alert in terms of getting any kind of retaliatory attacks from Iran. So certainly a big day, a decisive day, and this day will decide how this 10th day conflict will go ahead. Will it get broader, region-wise, intensity-wise, measure-wise? So it's a very important day, Gaurav.
It indeed is. Harold wrote, there are many commentators who say you cannot enforce a regime change just by aerial bombing. Iran is a very powerful country. It has multiple systems in place. Even if top leadership is taken out, there is a second rung waiting in the wings. Harold wrote, is that also your appreciation?
No. And here's why. Iran, in the Middle East, these societies, they are dictatorships, as is the regime in Iran. And there's a problem. Once the people on top are taken out, you have a problem of the institutions. There's no loyalty to institutions, as there are in other places in the world. And the result is it's everybody against everybody else. And that is the way it works in Iran. Trust is a very serious problem. The way the language works is it's all for show. The way you talk to one another is appearances matter more than what's behind the scenes. I can just give you an example. The first time I was in Iran, I remember seeing an absolutely beautiful arch. If you look at, for example, at Taj Mahal, it's the same sort of thing. Very, very intricate architecture. And I walked down the street. I could see this from a distance. Behind it was a collapsed building. But the appearance all was that everything looked beautiful, and it wasn't. It was destroyed, and no one, apparently, from what it looked like inside, had been trying to fix it for a long time. Superficial appearances in Iran matter much more, and there may be jockeying for power, but I don't believe it's going to be people who want to continue this regime.
Okay, but if not Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who then is that big question? And Shivani, Benjamin Netanyahu and the leadership in Israel, they've continuously been talking about empowering the people of Persia, empowering the people of Iran, saying we have no enmity with you. It's the regime that we are targeting. Now, on ground, is there an apprehension that the regime could still strike back and strike back hard?
Gaurav, you are absolutely right. The kind of messaging, the confidence building that Prime Minister Netanyahu has been doing with the people in Iran and Israel has been very clear in the statements that it has been making, that it is just taking that military operation with precision and the measured strikes against the nuclear threat in Iran. But certainly the people in Iran they are being convinced that the regime change can bring change and bring respite to them in Iran, because whatever is happening is mostly because of Khamenei. So that is the kind of messaging. Yes, if Iran strikes back, there will be counter strikes from Israel, but all the time these strikes are happening, you see in last 10 days, these strikes have been on the military targets, be it the intelligence officials, be it the nuclear sites, the scientists, the commanders who've been neutralized in this whole conflict or the operation. So once again, we'll have to see that will there be again a messaging from Prime Minister Netanyahu for the people in Iran, towards the people in Iran, to tell them once again that this is what we are doing. But yes, certainly this will be a big measure which Israel will be taking forward if it is deciding for a regime change or the elimination. That's what we are hearing.
Adrian, how difficult would it be to ensure a regime change in a country like Iran?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think it's going to be that hard to ensure a regime change with this dictatorship that's really brutalized, 90 million people for the last 46 years, and it's really they're finished. We've seen that. We saw, in 2019, the people came out into the streets, and what did they do? They cut off the internet, all outside contact, and slaughtered 1,500 people in the streets. The number was more around 4,000. This regime is utterly despised. They see that, and that's the interesting part, the part with us taking out Fordo and hitting the nuclear sites. That was what Ali Khamenei truly believed was critical to the survival of the regime. He believed that through and through. It was like, it was his most important project. And this is a man that, I'm not going to say everybody in the Islamic Republic, but I would say, 95% of Iranians absolutely despise this regime and the structure.